Good morning. Are you aware when you bore others? In our heads, we think our topics are brilliant, and the person in front of us with that glazed look in their face is really fascinated by what we are saying.
It's not true.
Not true, guys, unfortunately. What is the key to creating meaningful conversations? It's a skill that we all should master. This week on MidWeek MindFreak, we're going to be talking about the questions the most interesting people in the room ask.
Chuck and Angela run multiple million-dollar companies. They are members of Riz Media's Billionaire Club, have coached and mentored thousands of agents, and are international speakers. They say by radically changing your mindset, not only can you change your outlook on life, but affect the actual results you obtain. Welcome to MidWeek MindFreak.
But last week I was at this event, and I saw this woman across the room, and we didn't know each other, but we caught each other's eye, and we knew of each other because we're both in the biz. And so she starts heading towards me, and I'm thinking, well, here comes small talk, because that's what happens when you don't know somebody. So she walks over, and, we're like, hi, and I'm like, nice to meet you, and she's like, nice to meet you, and how are you? Good. You, how are you? Good. Good. How's work? Great. Work is great. Are you busy? Busy, yes. Well, it's good to be busy. Yes, we're happy to be busy, This is nice, isn't it? This is a nice, it is. It's nice. This is pretty the way they've decorated it. Sure is cold. Yeah, and outside or in here? Outside, yes, yes. There's cold everywhere. It's cold, so cold everywhere. It's winter. And there were pauses in between those sentences that were longer. I'm not going to draw them out for you, but there were, and she was completely comfortable with the pauses. Just complete their silence, and it was up to me to keep the conversation going. Because I'm a talk show host, is it my job to keep making the small talk? And so then, of course, we're run out of things, so then it turns to traffic, because that's what you do. It's like, did you hit traffic getting here? Yeah, I did. Crazy traffic. Oh, I didn't have any traffic. Oh, you didn't? Did you take Sunset? No, I cut through Cherokee. I didn't know you could cut through Cherokee. Yeah, if you cut through Cherokee, you avoid the Sunset traffic. Well, I'll do that next time.
Did you guys hear the video? Everybody hear that video?
I hope so.
Anyway, that was Ellen giving her little skit about small talk. Anyway, so the problem is most of us are guilty of asking those dreaded, superficial questions that lead us nowhere beyond small talk. And quite honestly, the truth is that most of us aren't consciously aware when we're boring someone else. So this is what we want to talk about today. How do you become the most interesting person? How do you have great conversations that are meaningful? And regardless of your personality types, there are several things that you could do to have great, captivating conversations that will attract others to your social circle. Now, if you understand the DISC assessment, people that are high I's tend to have a very easy time having conversations with people. But what about the rest of us? What about the introverts? So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some key questions that could lead to great conversations in these type of settings.
And because we were muted, I guess, on the intro, the topic that's important to understand is, we have boring conversations every day, conversations that don't engage other people. And in my opinion, it's because we're lazy-minded. We're not even trying hard enough to think of compelling things to say or compelling things to talk about that are actually interesting. So these are some questions that you can have when you're trying to have a meaningful conversation that will hopefully elicit interesting conversation. And the first one I want to talk to you about is, and this wouldn't be like, hey, I've never met you before. What makes you smile in the morning? It's not that weird or creepy, but a question questions that make people think. And when you ask a question like, what makes you smile when you get up in the morning? That wouldn't be the introductory question. But if you think of the spirit of the question, what you're really asking is, what's important to you? What lights you up? What is it that can help you start your day in a great way? So for example, I actually am a great morning person. I love the mornings. It's really natural for me. And I literally automatically
I
think
love
about
the mornings too, because I'm awake, I'm alive.
yeah, but I automatically think about something that makes me smile. So, the first person I say good morning to is God. I'm like, hey, good morning, God. Like, I'm happy that I'm in a relationship with the Lord, for example. I smile maybe at something that Chuck and I were doing right before we went to bed that was funny or entertaining or wonderful. That habit of gratitude first thing in the morning, right? And when you're talking to somebody else, you get on you start to hear what people are grateful for, and you help them to think about things that they are grateful for. And that's meaningful conversation. That's more than, hey, how are you? Fine, fine. How are you? Fine, fine, right? How's your day? How's your kids? Like all the same questions we ask, that some of them are important, but are you really inviting people to show their heart and think about good things? So that's one of them.
And I think let's all put this under the umbrella of, do you really care?
Yeah.
And I don't mean it flippantly. What I'm basically saying is you need to put yourself in check. And when you ask questions, you should really care. And I think reasons why a lot of questions start off bad is because you're going in there with what's in it for you and not about them. So you should start off, you care about their answers. I can tell when people don't give a shit.
Well, of course.
Questions that just, you might as well not even waste my time. Anyway, so here's another good question you could ask. And, especially if you're going into a networking event, and instead of going, what do you do for a living or stuff like that, go, what's your story? Tell me a little about your life. And you should phrase it that way, that it's not just like a pointed question. It's if I walked up to somebody, go, you know what? Hey, tell me a little about your life.
Wow, that open-ended question helps you really learn something about somebody else.
Yeah, it's going to trigger something. First of all, it's going to trigger an initial shock. Be prepared for that. People aren't ready to get a question like that, and it's not a question that's going to have a canned answer. So see, what you're doing is you're actually engaging to let someone, they can't just,
they have a gut reaction.
Yeah, they can't just say, hey, how's the weather? Oh, the weather's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's something that's going to make them pause for a minute. So you need to learn to pause. There's going to be a little uncomfortable silence, but it's going to open up a good response and open up a great conversation that gives them the access to speak from their hearts and share their life's journeys, dreams, and goals. So that's a great open-ended question. Get into a practice of asking that one.
I love that question because you can also learn about somebody's mindset. They haven't had time to prepare a response. So let's say I'm meeting someone new that I'm maybe trying to recruit or see if I can help them to achieve whatever. And if I ask that question, like, tell me about yourself, or give me some background about you, that's essentially your story. If someone was like, well, blah, 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 they're complaining, they're pointing fingers, they're acting the victim, they're going to have some kind of an authentic response because they didn't expect that question. Mm-hmm. You can really learn a lot about somebody. So another question that's great. I love this question because I'm a complete nerd. Am I a complete nerd?
Well,
Who's the nerdier of the two?
Oh gosh, that's not even a comparison. Nerdier.
Me. So I love to read, and books really impact me, some more than others, obviously. And so I love asking people, what books have really influenced you? I love that question because that conversation jumps into all kinds of things. Like, I can tell you right now, the book Heaven by Randy Alcorn, I will light up talking about that book because it completely changed my mindset. Thank you, Michelle Jorgensen. I can tell you, obviously, the Bible impacts me. That brings up a whole nother conversation. I can tell you my favorite Christian fiction book and why I love it and why you should read it. And that, if somebody likes to read or even listen to books like Chuck does, that's a meaningful conversation. If somebody is willing to answer those or even reads it all, actually.
Yeah, and remember, so guys, as you're listening to us speak, we're trying to, don't put this under the context of these are the initial questions when you always walk up to someone. The first one I said about, hey, tell me a little about your life, that could be an opening question. But some of these are follow-up questions once you start to engage to make the conversation interesting. That's the key. So another one that once you're starting to engage, that is a great question to ask is, what about you in your life that really excites you? Like what's going on in your life that really excites you? That question triggers passion. And once again, they're going to process because that warrants a real answer. And who doesn't like to speak from a passionate place? Just like Angela said, even the question about a book, it elicits passion. And it may end up talking about a thriving career, a new job, a new exciting phase in their business. Yeah, a new person in their life, a new baby. So there's so many different things. And remember, it warrants a great conversation and where it's an interesting one for both parties, because one, they're speaking from a place of passion, excited. You're coming from a place of going, wow, that's some really cool stuff that you're getting out of them. Or maybe the opposite might happen. Maybe they're miserable in their life. And that might get them to go, you know what? Nothing's great in my life right now, which then could lead you into a great conversation about caring and sit and go, all right, what could you do in your life to change that? And maybe get into a really deep conversation and a great connection with someone, because now you're truly meeting them on a real personal level of caring about them. So that's a great one right there.
I think before we go to the next question, one of Chuck and my favorite little comedic snippets is this one. So you got to listen to, what is his name? Tom Papa,
yes,
I think.
I always love this one. This is a great one.
This is hilarious.
Small talk.
Yeah.
Guys, listen to this.
But last week I was.
Not that one.
We heard that one already.
Now with them, Hey, listen, small talk to me with children is so much better than small talk with adults. You're right? I mean, at least they're coming up with new thoughts, trying new ideas. I was at a wedding with these grown-ups I kind of know. They're just regurgitating stories they've said for 50 years. There's not one original thought. It's just cliches. And how's work done? Well, still $1 million shy of being a millionaire. I got my commute down about an hour if I take the back road. If I take the highway, and the gas prices are and my golf game. Shoot me in the face.
Yep.
Isn't that so funny? But it's true. It's true. You go to these events or you're talking to people, they ask the same questions, they give the same boring answers, they talk about the same. I really think that part of it is people refuse to engage their minds.
Yeah.
They would rather just get that over with and move on to I don't know what, but it's the lazy mindedness when interacting with people. You should actually try good conversation. That's why we're trying to feed you some of these questions so that you can think about them yourself and maybe have a meaningful conversation.
And like I said, everything to get successful in life, you work on these skill sets, guys. These are really important skill sets that, I don't hear very few people teaching on it. And it is extremely important because people want to be around people they like and trust. And when you learn how to be a good conversationalist and engage in them and show them that you care, trust me, we live in a world that people are so self-centered and all about themselves. You will have a leg up if you master these type of questions. I think you have.
Yeah, I have one more. And Jackie Durbin made a good comment. She says, people are also scared to be themselves. That's absolutely true, that sometimes people hide behind small talk because they're afraid to be vulnerable. And that's a real human thing to think. But I would rather be vulnerable and be rejected by somebody than be inauthentic and have no relationships.
Yeah, because what you'll start to do is when you are authentic, guys, and I know sometimes people don't want to be for whatever reason, but when you are authentic, you're going to attract like-minded people. So when I know me and Angela, we got away from the people pleasing years ago, especially when we closed down the brokerage. And what we realized by being authentic and being who we are in our conversations and got rid of the people pleasing, all we say to each other now is, oh my gosh, everybody that's around us we like. Because you attract the like-minded people by not being phony, which Jackie's...
thanks, Jazzy. Only real nerds compete for nerdiness.
Yes.
That means you're a nerd too.
Nope.
Oh, you weren't competing.
I'm not competing.
Okay, so the last question that I think is really, really great question, and there's a lot of different ways to phrase it, but it's, it's tell me, like, what is the most important thing I should know about you? Or what are the things that are most important to you? And sometimes you'll still get cliche answers. Oh, this or that, or my kids. And I'm not saying that that's not the most important thing to you, but sometimes that will solicit an awesome conversation because somebody will say something that's super off. You never even would have thought that about somebody. And that can solicit a conversation where you're getting to know another layer of somebody. And again, it shows that you really care to hear, if you really care to hear. I mean, obviously you can ask any of these questions without caring, but if you really do, this is telling somebody I care enough to I want to hear something more than just the typical, how are you? How's your business? How's your family?
Yeah. And I'm going to put a little bow on this.
Ooh, what color?
Just purple.
Okay.
Just to tie this all up for you guys, I'm going to leave you with a couple of other things. Because me and you engage in so many conversations, and because I understand this as a skill set, so I consciously look at certain things, reactions, my body language, stuff like that. So here's a couple of little tips that I want to give you. Number one, don't drag on conversations.
Oh, God, no, that's the worst.
Be conscious of that, guys, because that's when you start to lose people. When they got that glazed look in their face. Talk a little faster. And the flip side is don't talk too fast. There's a happy median of how do you speak. Show your emotions. You see, there's some people that are emotionless. When you talk to them, and you ever get them where you go, oh my gosh, they are just hard to read.
This is the person happy. This is the person sad. This is the person mad.
Angela always has that best line, inform your face.
Yeah. Are you enjoying this? Inform your face.
So that goes for you when someone's having a conversation. What could it make the conversation more interesting is not so much by what you say, but it's by how you react to what they're saying. Even if you're not an emotional person, by nature, practice that because it will elicit a great conversation if they feed off of your emotion, your body language. And hey, look, if something touches you, shed a tear. Don't be, oh my gosh, I don't want to look like a baby and I'm gonna cry. No, emotions are real things that human beings experience. And last but not least, be a giver, not a taker. Gosh, I mean, I'm sure you guys know people out there that every conversation is about them, about their life, about their drama. Shit, those are the people you don't want to be around. Do not be that person. So those are things we're going to end up with here. Guys, share this. If you know anybody wants to listen to our MidWeek MindFreak, go like our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, so you can get these. And if you're an agent out there and you're struggling and you're not with eXp Realty and you want to know what is it like to partner with us,
we're good partners.
Okay? We are all about making people's lives as best as they can. Stop living a casual life and
no, don't end it. Please, guys, listen, if you want to go to the West Coast tour, you have to hurry because it is almost sold out. That's April 12th. We've got the Undercover Billionaire going to be there, Brent Gove, all of these. Yes, all of these amazing people. So you better hurry if you want to go because there's not that many tickets left. And Flourish, ladies.
But these are all at the forum.
Yes, in Chandler.
Here if you're going to give an ad.
all of these are in Chandler, Arizona at the Forum. And the Flourish event, theflourishevent.com. It's the amazing women's event that's coming up April 21st. Well, 20th, 21st, and 22nd. Please get on there and buy your tickets if you want to go. I don't want you to miss out on that amazing event.
Just so you know what the Flourish event is, it's a women's event. 18 of the top women speakers from all over the country will be flying in for 3 days. It's going to be an incredible event. You're going to get a lot from it. Guys, well, I should say guys, women. It's a women's event. Guys can show up if they want.
Sure, they can.
You look like the token guy there. But if you're a woman in real estate, thinking about being in real estate, or maybe even just sales, these are the type of women you want to be around. They're the best of the best. Once again, where is that at?
It's at the Forum.
No, the website.
Theflourishevent.com.
Great, guys. Well, we appreciate you watching. Don't know why you do, but we enjoy
Thanks.
it. Anyway, you guys have a great day. God bless you.